kayaks. It's me, Maja Szewczak, and welcome to the last idea Sunday of 2025. In 2026, Idea Sunday Season 7 will start. I cannot believe I went so far with Idea Sunday. To celebrate, we're going to finally get a dark Gummy fish River City Gummy fish fix today. And that's right, when I was a child I had those hair clips and I thought these things looked like piranha teeth somehow. Nom 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 nom. I still do think so now. And it will be Rita, Apricot, the villains, Kayak, so we're going to make a kayak with it. The kayak will not be your everyday kayak, but something more than an everyday kayak. You will see. I emptied out this box and I'll just remove that. We're not be needing the pink thing. We're using the clear thing. The pink can be used in another project or something, because I kind of associate pink with someone who's nicer than Rita Apricot. You do not want to mess with Rita Apricot, so that will not do. So now we're going to add this here to make the piranha mouth on this kayak. But first I'll remove the springs from it. Help! Okay, let's try a plan B. We're going to use this and make the mouth. I'm just stitching the stuffing around it to build up the head of my piranha thing. So we can now stitch it onto this lead that I took out of the pink box. I had to glue velvet fabric to make the teeth of the piranha stay on the kayak, and I'm mixing glue and dark metallic gray for this part because I'm making a crown out of plastic pieces that I've cut off some Barbie shoes for Rita Apricot, who is a villain in the Gummy Fish River City movie, because that movie is coming in 2026. So I wanted to make it available before 2026. Because in 2023, I did work on it, but the project has been dormant for a while. So, yeah. And this silver bits, I'm keeping the way they are, because I stitched together those pieces. And the thread was white, but I wanted to make it dark gray and metallic, so white thread had to be painted. But now we're going to let it dry. The parts dried. Now I have some organza fabric that I'm going to use to give some scales to the piranha, the gummy piranha. I want to keep the teeth mechanism functional, and I want the teeth to be exposed, so there's some considerations to be taken while I'm stitching on the organza fabric to the stuffing. We're going to stitch things on now. Just have to thread the needle and stitch, being mindful of the piranha teeth that I want exposed for this. If it's messy, it's going to be covered up in dark flowers later. So that's what I'm considering. So, just stitching that on with black thread. And making sure oh no, the thread broke off. Fine, I'll do it. Just knot it here. Then I stitched on organza fabric and the dark flower to it. So let's have a look at the piranha teeth. I have to make sure they can still do this, and they can. I don't want to break the mechanism too much, so that's why I have to be mindful of the way I stitch things on. It doesn't open all the way, but it can open. Very good. I was figuring out how will I make this piranha kayak look good, and I have encased the organza fabric into it. That's right, it will be organza fabric based. So, I want the head and the body to be blending in. So that's what I'm considering with this project. I hadn't even added eyes to it. However, we have to add more fins to it to help it, because this kayak will be in the Gummy Fish River City movie that I'm making right now. So let's get this in and ruffle it. To create the fins. And repeat until it's all done. After ruffling, it looks like this. Now I want to decorate the interior with these gemstones. At least this part. I'm going to glue them onto this area to cover some of the sculpted details that I will not need in this. And I have this feather that I'll also use. And I'm going to use a paintbrush to spread the glue. First on the feather. And now the gemstones go on. Just like that. Just have fun decorating it with those gemstones. Get some glue and decorate away. To make a pretty table for this kayak, because that's not just any kayak. It's Rita Apricot's fancy kayak with all the gemstones. So we're just gluing them in and using the paintbrush to get them on. I thought this would be really pretty for those type of projects. So that's why I chose them. So that's what we're doing. Wow. And some of the smaller ones. Although we do not want to mess with Rita Apricot because she's a villain that could steal all your tools. At least you can and want to admire her kayak, although it's a piranha design that shows a sign of trouble coming to the Gummy Fish River City. Although it may have pretty elements, you do not want to face it coming at you in the Gummy Fish River City. I think that's enough and time to let it dry. I have mosaic flakes from eBay and will be using Persepolis, so it's like reddish brown purple ones, and I will use some of that. But first I'll have to take it out. The other one, Heliopolis or something, I'm going to use somewhere else. Not this project, but a different one. So this is what I'll be using. Wow. But get the glue on before it spreads everywhere. And get the brush so it's easier to spread it this way in areas where you actually want it to be spread at. And I'll be doing it all over the interior of the kayak. Just painting it with the gluey mixture. To create an interesting interior. For Rita Apricot's kayak. Wow, it's really starting to come together. Wow. And I think I'll just do some of the fins, the ruffle fins, to decorate it slightly. Done. And we're going to let it dry before more of the yellowish gold ones will go on it. Some bits of dark cool emerald green glitter glue was also part of the design, just to add a bit of dark sparkles to the piranha. I also thought about adding the yellowish tone, this one, but I'll only add small bits of it, just for tiny dots of contrast. just to make it feel a bit more multi-chrome, but don't add too many bright colors, cause I'm mostly working with dark colors. I think this amount is enough. And I just try to use it carefully, because now you've seen that flake rain. It flies everywhere. Everywhere. I told you it flies everywhere, all over my studio. So work carefully. Because this spreads like wildfires. Anyways, let's get some green details. There would be light green glow in the dark details in some spots. I'll use some of the works green glow in the dark paint to add a bit more things to it, and they will glow in the dark. I'm just really feeling it. So that's why I've been working on it. Even in late March. But December was when the making video was supposed to come out. But then in March I thought I may need that for the Gummy Fish River City movie, so that's why I am working so early on this, just in case there calls a need for it to be finished in the Gummy Fish River City movie. Speaking of it, in March, because that's when I started to film it, maybe not March, but somewhere early than that, but March is when I put all of this into it. And I want to test the teeth mechanism. Still works. But it's like the mouth is there. Maybe to give it some weird twist, I'll make it look like a deformed piranha on purpose, just to make it look weird. And speaking of weird, I have this normal looking doll shoe, but it's way too big for any of my dolls. So I'm going to add that as a design element And I'm going to make it look like a really weird old boat that some people tend to find while fishing instead of fish, like an old boat. Like an old boat with some damage going around it. So I'm going to make weird looking holes in the boat. But first I'm going to cut this detail off. I took the pieces apart. It doesn't matter if I make the shoe look damaged because it's supposed to look like an old boat fished out of the river instead of something that's functional. I'm going to also adjust its size so it's not too big for my dolls, although my dolls will not be wearing that. Why would they wear that? It's a fashion crime to wear something like this now. But anyways, time to glue this onto it. And it doesn't matter if it looks really damaged, because if it does, then doesn't matter. It's actually a good thing in this case, like a boat that got fished up in the river without realizing. I'm also going to add some pieces of dark green wool to create the aging effect, like some algae grew somewhere on the shoe. That type of effect. Just to add a bit more details, to make it look intentionally like maybe when this boot was worn by people and it was brand new, it did not look like this, but it's just something fished up many years later. So that's what we're going to make. Just cover the sole of this with a lot of algae made using green wool and maybe water plants to really commit to making it look like a fished up old boat that we try not to catch, but we end up catching that instead of the fish. You see, in some cartoons it's like people go fishing and then instead of catching fish, they catch an old boat. They catch an old boat instead. So that's what I'm trying to make for the kayak. And this has to dry. I have some brown velvet fabric and I will glue it here where the toes are on the shoe, and that's what we're making the fabric out of. The fabric of this shoe. We're also going to add this. The leftover plastic pieces we've cut off. And a bit of algae on the fabric of this old boot. I don't know how long it has been in the Gummy Fish River City these boots were lost at. But now I'm building up the old abandoned boot with those pieces. Have you ever went fishing and find boots instead of fish? Please let me know. I'm trying to glue this. I'm not that good at making doll shoes. So it will be fine if I intentionally try to make it damaged. It would look good. I mean, not look good, but it's meant to be damaged. Like, look damaged on purpose. Because it's meant to look like it's fished up. I wonder what person could have found this or abandoned this in the Gummy Fish River City, and then the shoe was stuck to the kayak, to Rita Apricot's kayak. Ooh, an idea for the next scenario to happen in the Gummy Fish River City. I did not want to spoil it for people who hadn't seen it, but I was just thinking about it. Maybe it could have been her grandfather's old boots, Rita Apricots, or something. Who knows? And who knows what happened that it just stuck to the kayak and Rita Apricot wasn't able to get it out of the kayak. Maybe this piece would work better if I just set it in the front. I don't know the terminology for shoes. Really, what is an anatomy of a shoe? But it doesn't matter since we're making a washed up boot. A washed up and fished out boot from a river. And get some algae on it. And well, let it dry. While the old boot was drying, I've added some flowers, some sunflowers, and the plant to the head and tail. I've added some dark emerald green hair using frayed satin ribbons and thread. There's the braid in that color with some gray beads, and the gray beads are like pebbles that got stuck in it, which is also part of the design. I still have this left over, which would go into the old boot. The old boot dried. I'm going to use some dirty brown thread for the effect that the shoelaces also got dirty and washed up. They were originally sparkling and white and neither dirty and brown. So I'm going to stitch that in along with the green plant on the old boot, just to add some more details. And I'm also going to add some golden beads to bring out even more details of it. Something like this. Let's keep on adding them on. I know it's meant to look damaged and old, but I just want it in one piece. At least in one piece. I could add holes to it, but decided to just make it dirty and full of aquatic plants instead, like made out of wool and threads from satin ribbon or something, instead of making tons of holes in it. And come on, maybe I'll just need to change the bead. There, something like this. And push it in. We're going to just adjust that plant that was growing over in that river. And now we're going to close our sewing. And there, a fish top boot. Let's stitch it somewhere here. I don't know how long this has been in the river and this got stuck there, but let's not overlook it, not overthink it, and let's now use some green thread to make it look like a plant got tangled into the boot, and nobody has been able to get that off it. So here, and I think I want to have it just dangling off the fish instead of like a decoration. There, I'll just make it dangle out like in here. Yes, that's what we're talking about. What else could we add in here? I know! This bead. I don't even know what that looks like, but we're not going to overthink it. I'm just going to stitch it on just for a bit of details to this kayak before I start adding in the kayak paddles to it. Sorry, I don't know the terminology for kayaking, but to paddle the kayak, something like this. I'm not going to make it just yet. I'm just going to decorate as much as I want. I decorated this boat with green ladybugs, and in here is a broken doll ring that I've used to decorate the hair. And there's also in here some pieces of the sunflower. They're petals, but if a petal falls off your project, it's okay because you can add more details scattered around if that happens to any of your fake flower petals. Now this has to dry, and there's even a green ladybug inside the old boot. But let's let everything dry. I will use cardboard for the base. There's already paper on the wire, so it's fine. This is fine. And to the other end of it, we're going to let it dry. I will go over that in brown marker, but I want the paddles to match the attention to detail that the kayak already has. because I just love to decorate my dollhouse items. But I almost forgot to do the more important part of the kayak. Oops. But it's fine. Let's add a bit of leaves to it. Leaves and dark flowers. Let's get that on and glue it on. Then here I'll glue the other leaves on. Like this. And what flowers could I add? What about some red and purple? Let's do red on this side and purple on the other. And it looks better to not paint these cardboard parts brown or go over with the marker, because the flowers just make it look so pretty like this already that you just don't need to do that. That's why I love putting all sorts of beaded details like this on my things. Somehow, let's just give this area a little more love. And to the purple one, let's put a dark pink flower to complete it. Wow. And what about, let's see if we have any more green ladybugs in here. Let's take out enough to find one. Oh, there it is. Yay! Now let's put that away. That was my big strawberry the ladybug box that stored these. And now let's glue that on the spot where it's glue, and we're going to let it dry. It dried, and that's the finished product. I've decided to switch the apple backdrop into the Gummy Fish River backdrop because there was just so much details I needed. Something simpler to show all these details that we've added. And I got my dark Gummy Fish River city fix with this one, and please tell me what you think of it. And bye, Szewczaks. See you in another video. And the real life friend will give me the thing for the teeth. Thank you. This added so many details. But mostly the teeth are the thing that can move actually. And it works. Just had to get the right execution of it. Although this is a beautiful kayak, with these teeth you do not want to face it. But anyways, bye Szewczaks!